Go Loud presents the Talking Bollox podcast.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body okay. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
The hip knocker.
go down, go down, go down. Come up, come up, come up.
Boom, episode 51 the Talking Bollox podcast brought to you by Go Loud. It's me, Terry Flower,
It's me, COB.
and this week we're joined by
Jack Byrne.
the Jack Byrne fella. So Jack's
JB.
in with us today. How are you?
All good, lads, all good.
Yeah,
Thanks for
all
having me.
good.
Hey,
Keep busy, are ya?
everyone bleeding
Right,
sticky. Is.
anyway,
Look at him.
yeah, have to get back busy. I haven't done that in 10 months anyway.
Robbing a living, that fella.
That's why everyone now is going to be assuming we have an affiliation with Blackburn Rovers, aren't they?
No,
We
they're
had,
just the boys.
Season ticket.
that's we had Graham in, now we have the
Yeah.
Jack. And these are the boys, they're
Yeah.
from town as
You
well.
know,
But Jack, zingers from last week. Yeah, we're going to jump straight in, yeah?
Go on.
Would you rather a can of something or a bottle of something?
Bottle of 100%.
Bottle?
Really? Yeah,
Now,
bottle
not
of Coke over a
Coke,
can of
not
Coke.
Coke.
Yeah. Or what we
Whatever.
No, no.
No, if you're having a bottle, like, you can't have a bottle of Coke or that. I'm talking about
Can.
beer. If you're
Yeah.
having a beer, you have to have a bottle.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
agree, and a lot of
Corona,
people said that it was
bottle
yeah.
of Bud, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a can of Coke or something, it has to be a can.
Can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the bottle just goes flat.
Yeah.
And it's always bouncing around the car somewhere. You open it, fizzes all over the place. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a bottle 29%, a can 71%. Right, this is a good one for you, yeah? Would you rather Ireland win the 2026 World Cup or we get the 6 counties back?
Oh, that's a tough one, that,
Yeah.
isn't it, boys?
Play a card, right? You could be in that squad.
Yeah. Oh, that is a hard one. I probably should have asked James McLean that question.
Yeah. Give him a shout. We're trying to play and get him on.
I think he'd pick the World Cup. Do you know what? It'd be unbelievable. Imagine Ireland won the World Cup.
Mm.
This place would be... Just when we were qualifying for tournaments under Jack Charlton, put them under pressure, was on, the whole country is bouncing, like, you know what I mean? Imagine they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Man.
So you going to the World Cup?
World Cup.
You went
Yeah.
around about way about
I know, yeah.
What they say?
They're fucking close.
It's
aren't
very
they?
close, yeah.
Yeah.
48% said the World Cup, 52% said the
No
counties.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's close.
That is
Mate,
fun.
it's happening to a lot of history. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the 6 counties. You know, 100 years ago, since
Yeah.
Bladen, they were took like gave over since the treaty was signed or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, you have
So-
a brace, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal, lads. You know what I mean? So I think I'd go with the 6 counties back.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Like,
Dope, boy.
Hell,
Right to the
bro.
country,
Well, I
bro.
missed that.
What
I missed
real.
that history lesson in Joey's because I was kicked
Yeah.
out at that
yeah,
stage.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that one.
Yeah,
We'll get into it.
Right, next one is a cow's lick or the calves lick?
Kaslik.
Yeah,
Yeah.
calves
Yeah,
lick, a cow's
Oh,
lick.
Yeah,
We
that's
had
all the
culture
culture
in
You
there
said that.
last week. Yeah,
All the
that's all the
culture
borders
say.
that-
All the
yeah.
culture say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone tried to get smart, and it's like it's a calves lick when you're a kid, and then when you grow up, it's a cow's lick. How's that make sense?
That's someone telling you that with wearing a pair of Timberlands or something.
Yeah.
Some mad culture.
A cow's lick 35, a calves lick 65. Do you rather a cup of coffee or a cup of tea?
Cup of coffee.
Yeah,
Cappuccino. Caramel
all
cappuccino.
lovely. You said a cup of tea in there, but
Yeah,
I nearly fell out. with you.
That's because I was looking at the coffee machine. It wasn't up to my standard, lads. I think needs a bit of a wash.
The big fella.
I know, sort us out with one, Jack. Well, you worth the bleeding fortune.
I wish.
46%. Tea won that.
Did it?
Did he, yeah?
Tea, 54%. I'm fuming, boys. How did a cup of tea win that?
That's because
When's the last time you had a cup of tea, tell the truth?
27 then. Easily, boys. I haven't had a cup of tea in years.
Yeah, no, I like a cup of tea as well now, but coffee all
Yeah,
day.
for a cup of tea as well, the tea bag and all that, eating shit, you
Coffee
know what I
in the
mean?
morning,
Coffee
get to
all
the
day. Like, no one goes out and gets a cup of tea. Everyone goes out and gets a cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
but in your house, you'd always drink a cup of tea before you drink a cup of coffee, no?
No, coffee all day, bro. Yeah, coffee
Even
all
before
day.
you go to bed or whatever.
I know. You drink tea before you go to bed?
But have a cup of tea.
Yeah,
a
I'd
few
have a cup of
biscuits or
tea,
something,
like,
yeah.
Oh, no. I wouldn't have. No, I'd have a cup of coffee whenever in the gaff. I'm only having a cup of coffee now. I'm bouncing. Do you know what I mean? It's like doing a Hoover. Like doing a Hoover.
But that's his English boxed off, anyways.
What was the percentage? Hang on, what was the percentage?
54, 46.
It's close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah,
Oh,
close
but how's coffee not win that?
Because we have a lot of blading Elmwoods and all that, listen, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, it's
Stick the
bad.
kettle on there.
Alan Gannon voting on the
Yeah, voting twice and
That'll
all.
have 20 cups
Making
of tea.
pages
Hey,
and all the
well,
voting.
My lord.
That's the English boxed off. Jack, have you got a singer, no? Take your time again.
Just say no.
It's a tough one. Do you know what?
We have all day.
Actually, don't think I'll come back with one though.
Yeah, right, have you got one?
Hold it
As
down.
we kick on.
My one's Dutch, yeah?
Go for it.
What you call that? Do it.
Knuckle touch.
Yeah. What do you call that?
Knuckle touch.
Fist pump or a knuckle touch?
Nah,
Knuckle
Fist
touch.
pump is a bad one, isn't it? Got sent into us. I said I'll take it. We're running low, Jack.
Remember why everyone sat down to start the lockdown, the elbow touching and all? Just do the bleeding. Knuckle touch and stop being stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a decent one.
Go.
So, when you're having a bag of chips, do you pour the sauce or do you put the sauce on the side to dip into it?
That is a good one, yeah.
You just leave it in the cup.
Yeah, so do you
Yeah,
dip your
just-
chips in?
Just dip it.
You
Yeah.
dip it, yeah?
Mm.
You wouldn't do that with curry sauce, though.
Now there's weirdos out there that actually pour the sauce on the side of the plate and then dip off the side of the plate.
That'd be a
That's
dipper,
mad,
no?
You know what I mean?
Boy, what do you have a separate here,
Because
play?
you know them people that they only get one small curry sauce instead of just getting two.
A big huge
Do you know what
tub
I
with
mean?
a
Or
battered
big
curry
one,
sauce,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And then they're sharing out and they're pouring it on the side of plates and all that. Not for me, like, get your own.
So you're a dipper, not a porter.
Yeah, I'm a dipper.
Yeah. It's a weird one because like if you're doing it with garlic sauce, I wouldn't pour garlic sauce all over my chips.
you can't.
You dip it.
You
But with
can't.
curry sauce, I pour it all over.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, well, you just get curry chips then, wouldn't you? And just
No,
get it
but like in the curry
tray.
shop, or something like that, you have the tub of curry sauce beside it. I wouldn't be like take my chicken ball out and dip it. I just pour it all over.
Yeah.
So it's a weird matter contradicting my own fucking thing on it.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there battling there. What are you?
No, if you get a
Relax.
chipper, you get a little curry sauce and you have like a battered sausage or something.
Yeah, and you
You're
dip
not
it.
pouring all over
Yeah,
battered sausage.
yeah, but if you go to curry shop,
Yeah, if you get a curry, then
Yeah.
you will pour the curry sauce over
Yeah.
over like chips and rice
Whatever.
And all that, you
Yeah,
know what I
It's
mean?
scrambled.
yeah.
So what are you going with?
50-50.
Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna say dipper.
Yeah,
Dipper.
I'm a dipper.
Yeah, we go dipper.
Yeah,
Yeah, boys.
dipper.
One
Three
dipper.
dippers, yeah.
Three dippers.
Yeah.
Right.
The old chicken dipper.
Oh yes.
Which camera are we on? Give me this camera over here, Johnny, yeah?
That's a bad that.
Get it, that's weeks.
About 20 episodes that's been trying to hit that.
Fuck me, man, I'm the Lord, yeah? Right.
Some shot to be fair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
in fairness,
Yeah.
they're missing a load of them though.
That
Well, come here, I'm late at the arts, bro.
Yeah.
Late.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard,
I
yeah.
am, I'm good at that, yeah.
I'm alright as well to be fair.
Right, we go for the game of darts after this, yeah.
When I was in Holland before the games now, we used to do tournaments like.
You were
in
into
the
so
end,
much, we're just playing darts.
Do pre-match and that, yeah, basically, yeah. No, this is in Holland. This is not in Cyprus. We used to play darts all the time because it's huge over there.
Yeah. The fan game,
huge
fella.
over there.
All over the place.
Yeah,
Every
man,
pub,
yeah.
darts, everything.
And what you were cleaning up?
Yeah, we were in a lot of pubs, weren't we?
Right.
Yeah, well, just as well you cleared that up. You mean that kind of darts and not the other one.
All about the living
I didn't know which one he was saying he's good at.
Both. Look at the honk on me.
Smoking a shower, that yoke.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth.
Fucking red cunt.
Yeah.
God.
Right, having a bit of beef with somebody we are, yeah? Well, no. So a few months ago we done a thing with the journal about just about gentrification and the working class areas and how people are being priced out of their houses and, you know, like people can't afford to buy their own house and what have you. Then we heard that somebody was giving us a bit of stick about it and they're a teacher. And I thought that was a bit wrong, bit hard
So we
done
got a
by.
couple of messages to the Talking Bollox page.
About it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fair enough if you say, yeah, we're wrong. Don't be saying, look at these two idiots.
Yeah.
But then we like, right, well, we won't get into it. We'll have a look at that's grand. And someone reached out to us again and said, we were brought up in conversation because there was a journalist brought into the school and somebody says, have you listened to Talking Bollocks? And the journalist says, no, never heard of them.
Because they had Nicola Talent on.
Yeah,
And she's a big journalist. And the same teacher stood up and goes, they're Hugh McGregor wannabes. I wouldn't recommend listening. So
It's a good example.
we
innit?
can,
What?
so we can, we can be petty as well and need to back off that teacher. We've had plenty of problems with teachers on this podcast before. We talked about our personal stories with teachers.
Mm.
But anybody who's in that school, you know who the teacher is. We're putting her out there. We want to come up and we want to have a talk in front of the whole school with that teacher and we'll discuss it with them and we'll
But
show them.
This is a teacher, right, who doesn't come from an area
Where's she from?
like us.
It's
You
a
don't
he.
know?
It's a
he,
he,
is
it's a
it?
fella, yeah, it's a fella. Now, I know where he's from and it's a nice area, yeah. You'd like to grow up there, do you get me?
Yeah.
But you're
Where
not
is it?
from the
Know
same
where it is?
area.
We don't want to name it.
Yeah, we won't name, but we know
We
where
get
he's
into
from. But,
trouble.
like just being a wanker, like, why would you, I'd get if you put it on and be like, this is where it's wrong and whatever. And,
And
being-
criticise us. You know, if we were saying something is 20 and he's like, you're wrong, it's actually 21.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fair enough, we're
Yeah.
wrong there. But he's like, they're just two idiots.
The point is, in that interview I said, growing up in the flats years ago, there wasn't really much to do. All there really was to play football or fight.
Yeah.
So he took this literally and was supposedly laughing to the class, right? When, like, I don't mean you literally just go out and fight and play football all day. What I mean is there's only boxing clubs and football clubs around. Down at the flats, did you ever see a golf course beside the flats?
No.
100%.
Ever see a fucking rugby pitch?
Yeah,
And like that, there's
100%.
nothing like that down there. So when I say that, I don't mean you literally go out and fight or play football all day. There's only local football clubs and local boxing clubs.
Yeah.
And where this fella grew up, there's a tennis court close by,
yeah.
there's a rugby pitch, there's Gaelic
Yeah, yeah.
teams, there's all these close by. And he'll sit up there and he'll laugh and go, oh, look at this fella saying this. But you're taking it too literally, do you get me?
Look, until you walk in other people's shoes, you shouldn't really comment on on that. You know what I
And
mean?
especially he's a teacher, right? So when we were talking about this and we were looking at him saying, is there a sense of jealousy there that you're spending 5 days a week talking to these kids and we're spending 2 hours a week and they're probably listening to us more? That you're going to criticise us and try and put us down.
Yeah.
So we're open to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it organised. We'll come up and we'll have an open discussion and we'll show you.
Yeah.
Are we
It's
just
very unprofessional, isn't it, though,
Yeah.
Jack? Like,
No, it is.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
grand
like
being
we
clipped.
grew up here. We know what it's like
Exactly.
to grow up around here. Do you know what I mean? I've had many mates that have gone down the wrong path. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
true, half of it is through no fault of their own. You know, it's circumstances of where some of them do grow up and the people that they do end up being around and the situations that Ballybuck flats and places like that do present to you. You know what I mean? And as a young kids, it's not easy to make your own way, and some of them might not have the best families around them, and you can get brought into stuff you mightn't necessarily want to be involved in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and it doesn't get easier then when you're getting older and you're grown through that and you're looking for a way out as well. Sometimes you might have made mistakes when you were younger, and then when you talk about stuff like that about housing prices around here, crazy.
Yeah.
Like someone coming from the flats and going into an ordinary job, and not only from where we live, even where people from outside where we live, right, fair enough, they might have a bit of help from their families financially or whatever. You don't get that in the flats. You don't get that in
these working class.
these working class areas. You don't get that help. And, that's all I would ask people to do more is to try and help young kids. And not try and put them down or try and put down people's circumstances. Or, like, I know people go in for the job interview. They say they're from Doncondra when they're from Ballybuck.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want that stereotype basically about them.
And we touched on that in the
Yeah,
interview.
it's like
that exact point, you have to change.
crazy.
You used to have to
And
change your address.
And I see with me, like, I don't think I'm anything. I don't think I'm anyone. I am one of my mates. I'm
One of the boys.
part of my environment. I'm where I'm from, and that the things you can't change about you, where you're brought up, where your family,
morals,
everything. That makes you who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gives you your characteristics growing up. That makes you who you are. So I see the way some people would look at maybe some of my mates ahead of they look at me. And then when they know that some of my mates maybe will be with me, they'll say, oh no, they're all right. Even you go up to a place in town or whatever, my mates will be ringing me saying,
Yeah.
Jack, I'm outside, can you get me in?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, yeah, all right, I'll go up. And then I'll say, oh no, listen, he's with me there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's grand. Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead, lads. And you're thinking, like, do you know what I mean? Just because
Yeah.
they say a group of lads coming up from town think it's going to be fucking
Trouble
hassle.
and
It's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like that. But these people from these areas, and they look down on that kind of perception of it, where people from town might think, oh, everyone's against us. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing, and they, but it's people like that, them teachers that are saying them things about that. Do you know what I mean?
but
Two
it's a
McGregor
problem.
wannabes, or
Why
do you know
would
what I
you
mean?
say that?
Two lads from town doing well in something that you want to do, and trying to better yourselves. And he's saying, I don't listen to them. Two McGregor wannabes, fucking idiots. What kind of an example is that?
But that's what I'm saying,
To,
and
to the class.
He's a teacher as well.
Yeah.
So that's someone like in a position like that. He's teaching what 30-odd students say. They're looking to him for guidance. They're going to listen to what he has to say. And he's just saying, no, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
What, like, would you not rather go through and say, no, this is where Terence went wrong and Calvin could have said this better? Instead of just saying, no, do you know
Why
what?
doesn't he
That's
turn
what
around and say, well, the housing price, oh no, well, the housing prices aren't like that down
That's
there.
what-
Here's,
that's what I
here's
mean.
an example,
Yeah.
if you can get blah, blah, blah.
That's what I'm saying. If
And
it
then-
was like, that's 20, no, it's 21.
And
That's
if
where
he-
you're
And
wrong.
if he ever turns around and says that, we'll say, okay, no problem. How much do I need for a deposit for a gaff? What is it? They give 3.5%, 3.5 times your,
Three
your
and a half
mortgage,
times your
is it?
salary, yeah.
3.5 times your salary. What's the average salary probably someone's earning around town?
Yeah.
Probably 20 grand, 25 grand a
25
year,
grand,
something
yeah.
like that. Okay, times 3.5, what's that? 170
No, 60, 70 grand.
grand, right? Plus a deposit.
Yeah.
So you're talking you need a 10% deposit
Yeah.
on a gaff. Would you get a gaff around town for less than 500 grand?
No, exactly.
Absolutely,
So that's
no
Not even a
chance.
gaff anywhere.
So have you got a choice to be on the HAP or to be in council houses? And even there's not enough of them being built at
Yeah.
the moment. Do you know what I mean? So look, people can say what they want, but until they walk and
So
walk
this is
And that's
where-
through
why
that,
people
yeah.
would say, like, you'll hear people saying sometimes, oh, these people from working class areas, they go on, they have a chip on their shoulder about everybody else. They don't have a chip on their shoulder.
you
But when you hear things like this from people who aren't from the same
100%.
background, or even
Yeah.
any way
they
similar
don't understand,
background,
and they
No.
never will understand.
but they'll put
And
us down quick enough.
100%, 100%. And look, I'm probably not in that situation. Do you know what I mean? I've
Yeah.
been lucky. I've had good jobs.
You
I've-
work
I've
fucking
worked
hard,
hard. Do you know what I mean? I took a chance when I was younger.
Mhm.
Reason I went away at 14 is because I didn't really want to be getting involved in some of the stuff necessarily that I was saying that was going on around me. So I had to leave. I had to go, and I made something for myself. Do you know what I mean? So I might not be in that situation where I come back and I might be looking for the house and I can't get a deposit up. But that's nothing got to do with me. I'm one person out of how many other thousands my age in town, and my own mates that I look at saying, where are they going to get a chance? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where are they going to really push on, and
Yeah.
how are they going to push on? And something needs to change, and it comes from people like that not being so brain dead.
Yeah.
Really,
Mm.
that's the only word. Just don't be so brain dead about the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So that's what we're doing here now. So we could sit here and easily criticise him, call him a fucking idiot, say, I don't listen to your teacher. But no, we're going to have a constructive conversation. That exact example you gave there, where we sit down and we go through it, we're putting an open invite out there to that school, us two and that teacher, in front of the students, and we see who the bigger fucking idiot is then.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And again, we're not going to name the school or anything like that, but it's a local school. And
He
it's a
know, look,
local-
he knows who he is, and I'm sure the students who obviously listen, like they're obviously fans of the podcast, and they obviously see something in the podcast, which is why they reached out to the journalist and said, "Have you listened to them?" And them talking to a journalist,
Yeah, yeah.
and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
trying to relate to who they have in the school, and the fella saying, "I don't bother listening to them."
Yeah.
So let's have this constructive conversation, and we'll change our perception of us two fucking idiots here. So we'll see who the big boy is then. Are you open to have an intellectual conversation with two fucking idiots?
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, well, you know we won't, so
Well,
probably
we'll
won't.
see what
Well,
happens.
the option is there for him. Jack, we're going to jump straight into you this week. So, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
Jack Byrne from Ballybuck.
Right. And what was life like growing up, Jack?
Do you know what? Great life growing up, man. We had a great life. Honestly, we had everything you could have wanted. It's just we had community centres, all that kind of stuff. Playing football. That's all I wanted to do was play football. I had good mates. You know, I had really good friends who I'm still close with now, and you know, I think I have their back as much as they have my back. And yeah, just really good family, and that's all you can ask for, really. You know, with great neighbours, even though you don't really get that when you go outside of town. You know what I mean? I know people live outside of town, don't even talk to their neighbours.
Yeah.
We go into my neighbours gaff at 11 o'clock at night if I need a bit of milk. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Down,
It's
that's
mad.
what it's like. It's just completely different.
Jack, because I moved out, my mum moved out of the flats when I was only young, probably 11, 12 years of age. I moved up beside Cabra. Now, I used to always get out to the flats still
Yeah.
every day, but any time I didn't, so I had my friends up there as well. I made friends up there. And any time I was up there, I always felt myself trying to explain to them what the flats were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
and how great they were. And they, some youngsters up there, you'll say, you're a little chav and all. I say, what
Yeah.
the fuck's a chav, mate? Do you know what I mean? Fighting them and all, you know what I mean? But all I felt like I was doing any time I wasn't in the flats was trying to explain how great they were.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
And the communities like that, that's something that you
Yeah,
can't really explain,
You
isn't
can't,
it?
you can't explain, like, when you're in tight-knit communities like that, like Ballybuck. So we were all up the road from, say, even where Paul's area is, Portland
Place.
Portland Place. From all around there, like that whole area, we were all good mates, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, Ryan and that, and when we were growing up, we'd all be good friends, and it was just a bit of crack, do you know what I mean? We were just mad.
Yeah.
The stuff we had doing was just good crack, do you know what I mean? We might have stepped over the line once or
Yeah.
twice,
Well,
but
look,
it
we
was-
won't condemn you on the podcast, so
No.
watch what you're saying there. Yeah.
but it was always good crack, do you know what I mean? It was never any malice in it, like, and collecting and all that when you
Yeah.
were growing up, and like
The best days of life.
these things that you still think about now, like, you know what I mean? There's still memories that stick out in your mind, but you know, as I said, I obviously moved away at 14, so I lost my father. My father died when I was 11, so we were obviously dealing with that. He got cancer. We were obviously dealing with that from the time I was 9. So he started getting sick, and then just progressively getting worse and worse. So that was obviously tough, do you know what I mean? And then that obviously took a toll on my ma, took a toll on my family. My brother was brilliant. He stepped in, bring me to the football. Another close brother as well, Flinner, he would have helped out as well and brought me to football, brought me to games. So, you know, we was kind of growing up that age, and I was 11 and then from 11 to 13, you're kind of you start doing really well then the football, and I always knew it was gonna go away then. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I always had one eye on, well, I'm gonna be going soon, because like when I was a kid, it was very good. You know what I mean? It was a really
And you
good.
knew you were good.
I knew it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know it's strange to say, but when I was 11, it was probably like it was 16. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? In my head, I had gone through so much before, leading up to that, and then obviously,
matured quicker,
Yeah,
like?
with what happened,
Yeah.
I matured. I had to mature, and I was always thinking ahead then to like this. I am better than a lot of these kids, and obviously a lot of interest and stuff. And I knew it was going to be going away, and yeah, but that was really it. Like it's just
What age did you get into the football at?
I was playing football since early, like since I was 2, 3, like we throw a ball.
That
and,
young?
Yeah, kicking
just
it, yeah.
playing and but it's mad to say I was always very good. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
always really good, even like younger ages and stuff like that. It was always really good. So kind of knew I had a bit of a talent and just needed to work at it and just try and get the best out of it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But-
then you were saying, so when you were about 11 to 13, there was like offers or...
Yeah, so like I have offers then, like going on trials, Celtic, Arsenal, Liam
How
Brady.
did that come about? They come over and watch you playing football.
Yeah, so I was playing. I started playing for the DDSL team. Was doing well. Was playing for St Kevin's. Then around 12, 13, you start getting the Ireland call ups, and you start playing a little bit there. So was doing that. Sorry, and then just more and more clubs start to hear you. They start coming watching. They have scouts in Ireland. So I was keeping an eye on you. Always thinking when he can get you over. So I probably went away for the first time when it was about 11 or 12. So I was playing that DDSL Premier and then the Kennedy Cup. And then after the Kennedy Cup, then everyone came in. Chelsea, we scored a hat-trick in the semi-final. Like, it was doing really well, like, you know.
Is that why you always centre mid?
Centre mid, yeah, I always played centre mid. So I was doing really well. And then Man City, Chelsea, United. I went over to United 6 times. Arsenal once. Chelsea once. But I kind of liked Man City. I liked what they were still a small club.
They've been in that building stage at this time.
Yeah, they had just it was kind of lucky for me because they were still a small club, but they had just been taken over by obviously the richest people in world football at that time. So they had a plan of where they wanted to go,
Yeah.
and they wanted to basically build an academy of the best players in the world. It was basically like a world academy they wanted to build.
Yeah.
And obviously we were kind of the first batch of that then. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The 13, 14, 15-year-olds going into the 18s then. We were that first kind of batch, and you see it now. It's like it's incredible.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you know what I
second
mean?
to
They're
none now.
signing players for 8-9 million to play in that under 23s. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Fair play.
crazy. So, but yeah, I got lucky in that sense. Obviously, it was the club I wanted to go to. It was still quite a small club, family club. Still had a lot of the old staff there, but it was gonna move into the big club that it obviously is today, and obviously they could compete with the other teams. They could compete with Chelsea with their offers, United, Tottenham, all these kind of
And then
teams.
see with the contract offers. So you offered contracts off these other teams as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what way does that work? So because you're so young, you obviously can't get paid.
No, I had an agent.
Right.
Yeah, so I had an agent. So basically, when I knew who I wanted to go to, I said, right, I don't really want to know about the money. I want to go. This is where I want to go. And they were brilliant with me. They brought my family over. We all had a look around, and I was there 6 or 7 times. I went and stayed in the digs that I was going to stay in. Mika Richards used to stay there, so there was one other Irish lad in there when I went over. So I got a feel for it, and it was the club I wanted to go to. And then you kind of went to them and say, right, what's the offer? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't as if I could turn around if they offered me X amount and Arsenal had offered me 5 times more. You're going to have family in your ear saying, listen,
Yeah.
Jack, you kind of have to think about this a little bit more. You might want to push it towards here because,
Yeah.
Financially at that stage for me, it wasn't an extra 100 quid a week or 200 quid
Yeah.
a week. Do you know what I mean? You're talking
Big
thousands.
money, yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it's not as if you can say, it's only a lot of the young lads going from Ireland or, from before, they would have been going over to, on YTS contracts or, you know, they might have went over on £800 a week and a 2-year YTS on £100 a week, and then a 1-year pro. Where for me, I signed a 5-year, you know, a 1-year YTS, a 3-year pro.
Yeah.
So it was basically a 3-year professional contract. And then I was getting paid, obviously, when I wasn't meant to be getting paid before that. Paying me basically in agents' fees and stuff like that. So it wasn't as if you were just talking about £100 here, like, well, it's not really important. If you're rather there, go there. You know what I mean? It was a big package.
money,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Like you said,
And it's not just you, it's your family as
yeah,
well.
100%. Like, you know what I mean?
Class
Yeah.
area.
And I had obviously left, you know, my family, nobody working there at that stage. Like, my father just died, obviously,
Yeah.
a couple of years before. My ma, I had a obviously sister, brother, all that at the time. So obviously it all comes into,
Yeah.
you know,
Right,
you're
yeah.
thinking, like, you know what I mean? And it's not just about you then, you're kind of thinking, right, and that's why I say I probably grew up a little bit too quick in that sense, because
Yeah.
I was obviously, I probably had that worry on my shoulders of, you know, thinking I might have to carry the family here at 14, 15
Yeah.
years of age.
Yeah.
Although they would never ever put me under that pressure,
No.
and they'd never ask
But
for
you brought that on yourself.
anything, but you're just bringing that
Yeah.
on yourself. Do you know what I mean? As you probably want it yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are in that situation, saying, right, well, this is a little, you know, way out kind of. Do you know what I mean? Although if I asked my mother to move out of gaff tomorrow, she would never move. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Nothing like that, like, you know.
Yeah.
But just a bit of help, that's all, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
can help here, that's all. So yeah, and then so obviously made the decision. They obviously got in touch with my agent and they offered the best package out of a lot of them. So it
Yeah,
was happy
so it
days. It was
worked
the
out, yeah.
place I wanted to be, and it was the most money. So it was like win-win.
Yeah.
Right. I just
Yeah.
want to touch back on something that you mentioned at the start, yeah, because obviously we went to the same school, right?
Yeah.
And what I remember as well is you were away constantly. So
Yeah.
like you'd never really be in because you're constantly on trials, yeah. But the way your school is, yeah, it's an ancient building. So sometimes you have to walk through one classroom to get to another classroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you never have that in schools, no? So it's a weird one.
Partition doors. like,
Yeah, so like you'd be sitting in one class and then people from another classroom, like if they wanted to lift, they'd have to come through your class to get to the hall, you know, like that. So I remember sitting in class one day and this fella like storms through, had to get fucked out and he couldn't give a bollocks. He was giving the loads, chest out, shoulders back, fuck this and all, you know what I mean? But then like after bleeding and getting the head air off, he couldn't give a fuck, walks out. But then like you'd be going out and you'd be playing, I think you were about bleeding 13, 14 at the time, but then you'd be going out and you'd be playing for the school's 18s.
Yeah,
Do you know like that?
Yeah.
So did you know
Yeah,
like
but sure, I remember when, obviously loads of times, but mate, the same thing we talk about with teachers and people, like not from that area, like that new principal came in
Yeah.
from our school, Reach, was it?
I don't know
I
what
can't
school he came
remember
from.
where he came
Yeah.
from, but he was a
We won't say,
excuse
yeah.
me, French.
Yeah.
And this fella, there's people coming in, right? My ma had only buried her husband like 3 years before this, right? And I was coming in and I had a black pair of, you know, Nike runners, basically, but all black. And we were killing two birds with the one stone, basically. Get the runners and use them as skill shoes as well.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean? You're not allowed to wear them.
Yeah.
I said, hang on a bloody minute, like, what do you expect me to go out and buy a
Another
new
pair,
pair
yeah.
of 70 quid runners? Yeah. And then you have white socks on.
Yeah,
No,
go
no,
home.
you're not wearing them.
Did I never
It's
talk about this before?
have-
Did speak about it.
pumps,
Yeah.
right? You'd make you stick pumps on and walk around the school.
Yeah.
And then when I left the school and obviously went to Man City, I obviously went to Ross Mini and then I went to Man City. They rang me and asked me for the jersey to stick up in the school.
Yeah.
And I says,
After that.
Didn't you play for Ross Mini
gave-
against the school?
yeah,
Yeah.
I played for Ross
Yeah,
Mini
you
against the
played
school,
against. I remember
yeah.
that. Yeah.
That was gas. That
Yeah.
was a good day. That was Paul Gannon smashing me, you know.
Yeah.
But remember, we played against the Lark in that time, and so I was at the getting. They wanted to suspend me or something, and they had a game then that day, and we were all messing on the bus or whatever, and straight away Jack off the bus. What's going on here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So come off the bus. No, you're not playing today. And I said, boy, you got trouble in class, so you're not playing. So all the lads jumped off the bus and said, well, if he's not playing, we're not playing.
Yeah.
So they'll end up letting me get back on the bus and they
Yeah.
say, right, we'll all go, we'll play, we'll sort it out after. So I end up going, I scored an overhead kick then against the Lark, and I think Burke and all them were playing. That was
Yeah.
a good day, beating 2-1. That
There
was
was a lot of politics in that playing
Yeah,
school
it
in
was a
terms of football. Wasn't it? Like,
weird
it's
skill,
mad.
man.
I remember
Weird skill.
me and Daly got suspended in 6th year. And we got suspended for 3 days. And that was grand. You got handed your suspension letter by the principal. And as we were going to leave, the vice principal, who was the manager of the football team, we won't say any names,
Yeah.
pulled us in. He's like, so you're suspended for 3 days. He said, not allowed back in till Thursday. But you know what's on Wednesday? The Dublin final, so you can go back in by that day. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
So, you know what I mean? Like, it
But
was
you're getting
mental.
made out to be the biggest scumbag in the school
Yeah,
by one fella, and the next fella's like, yeah, don't worry about that. You can come back in a day early. What?
Ah,
Yeah,
man.
it's
But
mad.
you
You know
know
what I
what? It was a mad skill.
It's mad.
It's a mad
But
skill.
see that
we-
rule, like,
we
you're
were-
not allowed to wear white socks, and I was like, yeah, no problem. Send me home and I change my socks then.
We were acting the mega half of the
Well,
time in that
why I
place.
brought it up was, yeah,
We were acting the bollock.
why I brought it up, Jack, did you know in your head, like, fuck this, I'm bouncing
Yeah, we
anyway?
did half the time, but like some of the times, sometimes you just want a little bit of help from them as well.
Yeah.
And you just want them to speak to you, and you know you're a young kid. I was probably angry with the world as well at that stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saying, I don't need blah blah blah, because obviously what happened before. So it takes a teacher to just kind of speak to you in a certain way and not
No.
egg it on. Like if a teacher
Yeah.
comes around to you when you're saying something or you're having a mess in class, says, "Oh, you're only a scumbag from Ballybark anyways."
Yeah.
It's not
What
that
you
deep,
gonna
like,
think?
do
Do
you
you
get
know
me?
what I
It's
mean?
not
Like
that
if
deep.
you just turn around and you put an arm around the shoulder and you say, "Look, listen,
Stop back in the
stop
bollocks.
acting the
the
bollocks.
bollocks, yeah, what's wrong
Come on,
with
you need to help me out.
Yeah.
If you keep carrying on like this, then you will start. You feel a little bit guilty, and you'll say, "Oh, do you know what? I won't actually I'll just chill out with doing my work." Do you
100%.
know what I mean? But like I went to Rossmini then, and it was grand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went in when I wasn't on trials, done my junior shirt. Can't remember what I got now, but I done it.
Yeah.
And then it was away all the time. It was on trials. They embraced it a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That they enjoyed having someone who was
Gonna be
kinda-
doing well.
Yeah, gonna do well and gonna. I felt as if when I was in Joey's and that principle and stuff, they kind of didn't. Do you know what I mean? But I still get that now. Even coppers like driving around the area, have a yellow reg on the car, pulling me over when I was a kid. Like you know what I mean? When I just got back from city and say, try and take the card off me and say, well, hang on a minute, it's my car. Like there's my documents.
Yeah.
So how can you afford this car? Driving around this
Yeah.
area, how can you afford this car? And we can't afford this car, and I'm 10 years older than you. Same. That's none of your business, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, look
Like,
at-
and that's
Spoke
the
about how many
and
times.
that's the
it's been a while.
stereotype that you get when you're
Yeah, it's been a while since
around
we
that
had these
area and-
conversations, Jack,
yeah.
because we used to touch on this, especially early on the podcast.
Yeah.
But we have it all the time, all the time. I remember dealing. I don't like getting into details of it about this because it does expose yourself a lot.
Yeah.
But I've dealt with the police many a time,
Yeah.
yeah, and them like, how have you got this? How have you got that? And me, I don't want to be a wanker about it, but because they're being a wanker to me, I said
Yeah.
it to them. I make more money than you,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're trying to talk down to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I won't
100%.
judge someone about how much money
Yeah.
they make in their life. If you work, I respect that. Yeah, fair play to you. Have a job. Yeah, grand. But don't use your job to abuse me.
Yeah.
If you're using your job to abuse me,
Like, they
I'm
hear you
gonna make you
talking.
feel like a prick.
They hear
I
you
make more
talking
money
and
than
see
you.
our tracksuit and they go, well, how are you making that much money? Well, hold on a
100%.
minute.
Yeah.
Just because I
Yeah.
talk like this and I wear this doesn't mean anything.
doesn't mean that.
Exactly.
You
know what I mean?
That's why they're questioning. You know, it's all right, the blade sort to give a little bit back there.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
You know what I
course.
mean?
If you're gonna be a wanker, I'll be a wanker.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Well, it's not really nice to know, but it's that bit like we're relating to you. Like you're out there. Do you know what I mean? You're representing Ireland. And there's cunts there bleeding, hassling you about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
100%,
It's not my fault you
100%.
can't bleed and
And half of the
not
time
make
I don't
someone.
even say that until I have to say something then. 'Cause
Yeah,
you think I'm
and that's
getting
the
in
way
a bit
I
of bother
feel.
here, and then you say, look, listen, I'm out here, blah, blah, blah. Like this, Jack can play football, you know what I mean? And as soon as you say it, just changes.
Yeah.
And you're saying, if I had said that 5 minutes ago, I wouldn't have been in a little bit of that bother. With
you shouldn't
them,
have to
know what I
say
mean? But you don't want to say that because
Yeah.
I feel as if whenever I throw something like that out that card out, I feel looking at myself, you're a wanker. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like about myself, like saying, what the fuck, you? Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm anyone, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But sometimes you do have to say that to get yourself out of certain situations. That's not even your situation to be in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly.
So, but it is what it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but that's what I mean. Do you know what I mean? A couple there in your face about like, how have you got this? How have you got that? Like, hold on for a minute, mate. Just because you have the right to detain me
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to abuse me. I'll let you know. Like,
100%.
you know. Well, yeah, that was that out of the way. And anyway, so you signed for City. Yeah. What age you moving over to Manchester at?
Yeah, I moved over to Manchester. I moved over there at 14, so just after the junior cert, I moved
That's
over.
young
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well,
I was
isn't it?
very young. And that's tough, like, you know what I mean? But I loved it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
the first couple of weeks, I remember getting there, you just no
Say what, just in a
homesickness.
bubble, were
Yeah,
you?
no nothing, no homesickness, no anything. You're just there, you're playing football every day, you're waking up, can't wait to go into training with some of the best players in the world. We signed the lad from Real Madrid for £5.5 million at like my age, and it was unbelievable. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you're just loving it. You're going in training, you think this is great, this is what I always wanted, you know what I mean? But then it hits you. Do you know what I mean? And when it hits you, you
That you're away
fucking
from
know
home,
about it.
sort
Like,
of,
you
Yeah.
know? You see all your mates and you think they're not big things now. You're looking back saying, can't believe I was even worried about my mate's 18th.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or junior night. But you do when you're a kid, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're a kid. You're still only a kid. You're seeing all your friends going out. You're seeing all your friends do things. And you want to do that, you know what I mean? As you get older, you pick and choose what you want to do,
Yeah.
don't you? Like, you know. But when you're a kid, you don't do that. So you kind of lose a little bit of what you have in front of you. And you're kind of looking at what other people are doing and saying, oh, I wish it was going there. But you have to embrace that opportunity then. After a while, it comes back and you say, right, yeah, I am stupid. I don't really want to go home to go out on junior night. I'm playing Man United's under 18s tomorrow. I want to do that, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But you still get that homesickness. You still miss your family. You still miss your friends. You still miss, doing normal stuff, because at the end of the day, you're not a normal kid anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not, and social media and all that kind of stuff started coming into it around that time as well, which was good because you communicate with people and all that a lot better. But at the same time, then people are writing every single thing you do on the internet. You know what I mean? And in papers, and
You have to be
like, I've been
careful.
in the newspaper nearly every second week since I was 14 years of age. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? People are always interested in what we wanted to do because of obviously the talent that I had as a young kid. So, you have to deal with all that as being young, and it's not like that for a lot of the kids. You know what I mean? Like Troy would have that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I look at Troy and he has that push, and he has, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but if he doesn't play for Tottenham or he doesn't break Robbie Keane's goal scoring record,
Yeah.
people are going to look at him as if he's a failure.
Yeah.
If he's played for Ireland 10 times and he's not even 20,
Yeah.
he's a fucking success.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not like that for all the kids. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that for it's only a certain couple that you might get. The Robbie Brady's, it was myself, Troy. Do you know what I mean? You kind of see the media hype about a lot of them, and a lot of the others you maybe don't. You know what I
It
mean?
was the
So-
same thing. I only seen the yoke with Robbie Brady the other day because it was 10 years since he moved to
Yeah, yeah,
United. But
yeah.
the same thing happened with Conor Clifford
Yeah, yeah,
because when he moved to Chelsea,
Yeah.
Robbie moved to United the same year.
yeah.
And it went to show like the way their careers went, like the pressure the two of them were under.
Yeah,
I remember when Conor Clifford moved.
Yeah, yeah.
My mate was in his class in Larkin, and he said it's unbelievable like, the way he was treated in Larkin. Like they wrapped him in cotton wool.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I was like, imagine the pressure he was under.
yeah,
There.
100%. Like, and I feel for Conor because he's a good fella. Like,
Yeah.
he's a proper sound bloke. And like I've been through it a little bit where I've been in a little bit of a dark place, but we managed to get myself, going again. Like, and obviously getting Ireland caps and coming home and kind of doing that, which to be fair, I'm proud of because it is tough, man, when you're on the floor to get back up and go again. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're thinking I've failed everyone, but you're not looking at what you've actually achieved. And it was
Yeah.
only when I came home that I kind of looked and I said, what have I done? What have I actually done? Do you know what I mean? I played in the Eredivisie, I scored against PSV. I've done really well for the year. Went to Blackburn, might not have worked out. Went to Wigan, might not have worked out. Circumstances out of my control. Went to Oldham, done really well. And then went to Kilmarnock, didn't work out, wanted to come home. Is that my fault? Do you know what I mean? Like, when you look back and say, well, I've actually achieved a lot here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've
There's a
done
lot of
really
shit that
well.
people don't see behind the
Yeah,
closed
like,
doors, though.
I've done well to get this far. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you look at the likes of Wes Houlihan, he went away at 27, 28, had an unbelievable career towards the back end of his career. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whereas if the start of my career was actually really good, do you know what I mean? And then maybe a little bit of a falter in the middle for a year and a half, but that doesn't define you. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's how you
And
come
you're only
back from
fucking
stuff like that.
25. Like,
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
so
up, yeah.
so I do feel though for like Conor, because we know the pressure that comes with it. Like, you know what I mean? It is. It's tough. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? He was captain of Chelsea's 18s, and they had some serious players.
yeah,
serious.
serious.
He was the
players, yeah.
man. Like, you know what I mean? So if anyone asked me, I'd say he done unbelievable in his career. Like, the captain of Chelsea's 18s and do that well for that period of time and earn a few bob or whatever. Like, fair play to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
Definitely,
it doesn't kick on, no problem. Do you know what I mean?
He's still playing ball now, isn't he?
playing,
Still
you
doing what he loves.
Still do what you love. Still hopefully enjoy it and be around good people, be around family. There's nothing wrong with that, really. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to play for Chelsea.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You don't have to play for Man United. You don't have to win Champions Leagues. It's only, certain people that think you have to do
Yeah.
that for success. That's
Just
not. That's
How
not
many
success.
believing people actually win a Champions League in their
Yeah,
career? You
like-
know what I mean?
Being happy, being enjoying what you're doing and having a good frame of mind, waking up in the morning and thinking, it's not a slog today. I'm enjoying this. That's
Yeah.
success. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? And that doesn't matter if you're a footballer or just going into work. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's success.
Once you're fucking happy doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Once you're happy, you're happy. Do you know? It doesn't matter. If money comes and goes. You spend it. You fucking do whatever. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's about what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what you want to do, and what gets you up in the morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%.
That's it.
We're all
Wise
on
words, what?
Yeah.
100%.
So obviously, you went over to City young, yeah? Talk to us about then growing up playing for City. Under 18s. What age did you play for them under?
I played up until the 23s.
Up
So I
until
played,
23. Talk to us about
So-
some of the players you would have
Ah,
played
man,
with.
like, it's crazy, like, you know what I mean?
Who was
So-
in the academy with you in that time?
in the academy? Olivia Encham was at Celtic.
Mm.
Midfield at Swansea now. Kean Bryant, Sheffield United, West Brom now. Brandon Barger, Rangers. Thierry Ambrose, he's playing in France. Seko Fofana, Udinese. Jason Denayer is playing for Lyon. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking Angus Gunn, goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian Lawler. Angelino, the left back.
Yeah.
He's
Or,
at Leipzig,
yeah,
is
but
he?
mate, we had a serious team. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, you're talking about like some of the we are probably the best. Us and Chelsea were the best 25, 18 to 23-year-olds, or say 16 to 23-year-olds
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about in the country, because if you're the best in the world,
You're
Man
getting
City
picked
are
for that
buying
team.
you.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Man
yeah.
City are just going out and saying, yeah, we'll take him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, we played against Leroy Sané in the Youth Champions League, and I scored in the game, and he scored in the game, won all the boys were at the game,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, fucking hell, we done well there, like, you know, buzzing. Like, next week, Leroy Sané scores in the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. Schalke, I think, got beat 5-2. Man City signed him for 50 million to come in that summer
Yeah.
after them 2 games. Like,
Madness, isn't
just
it?
like, what chance did you got? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's madness.
but at the same time, if you're at a Sunderland or you're at a lower team, you know, people always say, why didn't you sign for a lower team? You might have went in and played for their first team. Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, I get that. Do you know what I mean? But you're not going to improve technically
Yeah.
and tactically the way you would at one of them big clubs. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just the players that you're playing with, the coaching. Like, Viera was my coach. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you don't get that at them other clubs. You might have good coaches. Don't get me wrong. There's good coaches and there's good people, but your squad. Our squad, when we lost in the U Cup, the head fella at Man City came into us and said, you lost to 9 bin men and 2 good players. Patrick Roberts and Moussa Dembele were playing for Fulham at the time, and obviously gone on to do really well.
Yeah.
Man City obviously bought Patrick Roberts then again.
Yeah.
But he said, you lost to 9 bin men and 2 good players. He said, our whole budget for the under 18s is more than their first team budget. Do you know what I mean? And they were I think they were in Championship of the Premier League at the time. So,
It's madness.
like, yeah, thinking, so,
What was Vieira like?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Quality, man. Like, you just respected him, you listened to him, if he told you something, he changed my game. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
He
especially
changed
for
my
you.
game.
He's played same position.
Yeah,
really.
like, he changed my game completely, and you just had a different level of respect for him when he was talking and the people. Like, he used to bring like people into like physios and all, like, you know what I mean, that he used to work with him, and Arsene Wenger used to get them in. These physios and all worked with like the royal family
Yeah.
in London and that. Like, they were like, I think they were like 1,500 quid a person, and they were saying us as 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Mad that.
Like, I have a scar on my nose from playing 5-a-sides down I was playing for a refugee kind of like tournament, and I got loafed, and this fella used to say my breathing was all off. He used to be rubbing the scar off my nose, like, it was mad stuff. Do you know what I mean? That then you're thinking, right, well, if he's putting this much effort into us, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to give it back to him. You have to try and think,
yeah.
like, but tactically, he used to go over and work with Guardiola in the off season. So he used to work the international breaks. He wouldn't be in with us. He'd be off in Bayern Munich, and they offered him the number 2 job in Bayern Munich, I think, at one stage. And so we used to go over to Pep all the time. So when he come back, then he'd be doing Pep sessions with
Yeah.
us. So we love that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'd be
Yeah.
thinking, this is amazing, isn't it? Like, you know.
Mhm.
So that obviously improved our game so much. Saw positional play, and it suited me because I'm not the most athletic. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
holding me position waiting on the ball, moving the ball, let the ball move instead of the players move, basically.
Yeah.
That was brilliant. And it improved my game massively.
Did you ever train with the first team?
Loads of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to us about some of
I
them.
trained under Pep.
Under Pep, yeah.
That's it,
So,
yeah.
the picture
talk
of
to
it,
us
yeah.
about who would have been the best player in the training?
Oh, man, do you know, he was a joke.
I know. I have a feeling who I'm going to say. But
Say it, go on.
I think David Silva. No.
I was going to say Silva as well.
Joke.
Different level.
Yeah, different level. But Nazi.
No, do you know what? I
lads.
seen. Do you ever see the
Telling you.
that Tubes does?
Never
I've
seen a player.
Some of
like
the older ones, the players when they talk about players in
Who's
training.
the best in training,
A
yeah.
lot of them say Nasri.
Did they, yeah?
A lot of them, yeah.
I'm telling you, lads.
Exactly.
Could not get the ball off. He was a joke. He wouldn't tie his laces. He'd be going around baggy jocks on.
Yeah. Just acting the Bollox.
Rain
Like.
jacket, like scarf up there.
Yeah.
Oh man, and this fella, ridiculous level, like, and that's levels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're
that's
thinking
it.
like, you're going in, you think, oh, I'm good, and then you
Yeah.
go and train with him, and you're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm
Ah, but
brutal.
Nasri at his best was
Yeah,
one of
man.
the best in the league.
One of the best in the world, honestly,
Yeah.
one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And he just had this big fat arse.
Yeah.
Sink in, you can't get the ball off him. You know what I mean? He's a madman as well. He was.
Comes across as a head case.
Yeah, he's a madman.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not funny for his for this
say nothing.
podcast.
We'll say nothing. We'll get you in the canteen after this.
Yeah.
But come here, what age did you be like, right, I'm at a bit of a crossroads here, and eventually you end up going to Holland to Cambo?
Yeah, so another thing I say when people say like go to like a lower team or whatever, you don't get the opportunity to play in the U Champions League. You don't get the opportunity to play in them, travel with the first team, see how that's all.
And how are they
going.
treated? Are they treated as such a serious thing, the Youth Champions League and all? Like, a
It's
huge,
massive, man.
yeah,
Massive.
huge deal.
Huge deal. Like talking about like you travel with the first team. All the media that go to the first team game go to the
They're getting news as well.
yeah.
It's in
go
the
to
same
that
group, isn't it? It's
game.
drawn
Yeah,
in.
same group. So
Yeah,
whatever the
whatever-
first
yeah.
Yeah, I
You
know
play the
it's the
same group, yeah.
whatever the first thing gets drawn, you play and you travel with them on the plane. Everything is done the same way. You don't stay in the same hotel, stay in a different hotel because you leave them,
Yeah,
do
they
it
do their
again.
own game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is fair enough. Like, but amazing, honestly. So when people say to you, like, why would you go to a smaller team? Then you don't get the opportunity to play against the likes of the Ajaxes and all them teams in the U Champions League. We played against Bayern Munich, Rome, all them teams. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? For
big
for a
European
couple of
dogs,
years,
yeah.
like so. It's great, and the opportunity, as you say, to go to Holland wouldn't have came about if I wasn't playing in that tournament.
Yeah.
Because that's where they were watching. We had a lad on loan at that team before, that I went to Cambour. We had a lad on loan there the season before, and they were looking for someone else to go in because he was going to go. He was signing for another Dutch team over there the season after, so they wanted someone else in, and they were watching the U Champions League games. Obviously, us, Chelsea, and they were saying, right, who can we
Yeah.
pick? And obviously, I had scored 7 goals in 6 games. It was on fire, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was they were saying, like, they were watching them games. It was a no-brainer for them to be like, right. And Patrick was brilliant with that. Like, Patrick pulled me at the end of the season, and he said, what's going on, like, you know? And I said, not much. And he said, look, I know Bolton are interested in you. Bolton, I think, we're interested. I said, yeah. I said, look, I haven't really heard that. And he said, you can't go there. And I was like, why? And he's like, because you're not going to play.
With
He
Neil
said-
Lennon being down there.
Yeah, Neil Lennon was there at the time.
Yeah.
He said, you're not going to play. It's not going to suit you. I said, all right. He said, but you can't stay here. And I was like, why? And he was like, you're too good for me. Reserves, like, you need to go and play first name football. He said, there's a team in Holland that want to take you. He said, it'd be perfect for you. So I was like, all right, sound. I said, went home. He said, look, how long have you got left in your contract? I said, I've got 2 years left. He said, okay. He said, well, they won't let you go on loan with 2 years left in your contract. He said, so I'm going to get them to offer you a new deal. He was like, I'll get them, we'll get a new deal sorted. So I was like thinking, all right, sound like no
Handy
problem.
one,
Like, you know what I mean? So I went home and then got a phone. I was actually in Mali. I was with the lads.
Yeah.
Like the 24th of like May or something, and it was like, oh yeah, offer you a new contract, fly back over and go to Holland. They want to take you. The manager rang me. I was in Mali, like with the lads, the Dutch manager. I can't really hear you. The signal is bad. Like, yeah, sorry. Only 18 or something, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, gas. And so just flew back then, signed a new deal with City and went on loan to Holland, signed a new 3 year with City. they were great like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give you a new deal and paying Yaya Toure 200 grand to sit in the stands
Yeah.
a week, do you know what I mean? They didn't care, like, so it was like, yeah, we look after you, like, you go out there and do
Did you
well.
train with Yaya, by the way?
Yeah.
Did you wish him a happy birthday, did you?
Mad. He, one of the training sessions we were doing was like running, like, but he'd be like, at this count, you'd have to run the length of the pitch. At this count, you'd only have to run to that count.
Yeah.
The fella, I swear to God, he would not move off this count.
Yeah.
He'd just keep going from that count to that count. And he'd swarm himself about 4 young lads. And he'd say, well, you go up to that count now. And you just like jog past them. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I will do it. And you'd be sprinting the length of the pitch for them for the whole thing. Oh, man. But like, you do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Kolarov,
Yaya
same
tells
thing.
you to run,
Kolarov.
you run.
Imagine Kolarov used to call us over after training to jump on a wall for free kicks.
Yeah.
Boot balls at our heads.
Leading legend.
You'd be buzzing. Training with the first team today. Just getting balls.
Leather
Like
over, yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
that's
gosh. But then out in Holland, man. Holland was class.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
You got some exposure over there, didn't you?
Over there,
Yeah.
I done well, like, you know.
Boys loved you.
Yeah, like, I done well, like, I done really well. Like, scored against PSV, got team of the week against Ajax, got in the team of the week against Feyenoord. So all the big games I was playing really well, like, so
Yeah.
I was half ripping it up, like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And suited me down to the ground, the style of football, and the club I was at suited me down to the ground. It was just one of those things that was kind of perfect. But when I first went over there, I rolled my ankle in training, and I missed a couple of weeks, and I was getting homesick because at the start, you're in Manchester, I had all my mates in Manchester,
Yeah.
my house and all there, do you know what I mean? So when you go over there, then it's completely different.
You're starting fresh.
Yeah, the lads are speaking, some of them are speaking French, some of them are speaking, you know, a little bit of English, and most of them are speaking Dutch, like, you know what I mean? So you're kind of, you get dropped there, and then it's like, fucking hell, I'm here now, like, you know what I mean? This is different, like, this is really different. Because not as if you have your 6-7 mates from the reserves that are from Manchester that you buzz off, and you have proper good mates since you're 14, do you know what I mean? And you all have a few bob, and you're all going
Yeah,
out
you
doing
do
what
whatever you
wanna
want,
do.
yeah.
You're going into a man's dressing room then, and all these boys have kids and all, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they're finished training at 12, and you're saying,
Bouncing, yeah.
what do you want to do? Just want to go over to Nando's, or just want to
Yeah.
go over? And they're saying, go and collect the kids from school, and you're
Yeah.
sitting there like, what do I do? I'm in Holland, like.
Yeah.
Used to just, after about a month or 2 months, I just found out that Holland was lethal anyway, so
Yeah.
I didn't mind.
Doing a bit
Because
of
you just
window
go-
shopping.
Yeah. Just going down to Amsterdam. I remember looking at the fixtures and all, and you're thinking, playing Ajax on a Friday night. Thinking, lovely, you get the weekend in Amsterdam.
Yeah. Say nothing, didn't
Off
they?
till Monday, and you don't play till the next Saturday or Sunday, like, you know, because only one game a week over there, whereas England Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. So, man, like, once you got the grips of it over there, and you got used
just
to
start
it,
out, like, yeah.
yeah, but it was quality now. The games are unbelievable. Everyone passed the ball, like, everyone popped the ball. It was like there was no long balls. We drew with a team, and I think we had 35% possession. We had to shut up shot because we were bottom of the league nearly at that stage, and we got built off the pitch, and we got a 0-0 draw, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we played one of the top teams. I think it was Utrecht at the time, and then we went out the week after, and we battered someone. It might have been, I can't remember who it was at home. We battered them. We got beat 1-0 in the last minute, and we got clapped off the pitch. 'Cause
Yeah.
they just want to see
Football.
style of play.
Yeah.
They didn't
that's
care.
class.
Don't
They cared about, like, the results, but it wasn't. If you won playing the wrong way,
You didn't
you
want
got
it.
the same treatment as
That's mad.
you got
yeah.
beat. Like, you know
Don't
what
they
I
do
mean?
a thing, the academy over there, everyone has to play in all the positions on the pitch. So
Yeah,
they have to
yeah,
tie them out.
they
Like,
do, yeah.
you're a left back, right? You're going in goal
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? They tie them out, yeah.
It's just a different, like, that opened my eyes up then as well, different way of thinking. And maybe when I went back to England, when I went to the championship, I probably shouldn't have went back at that stage because I was still kind of in that mode. Do you know what I mean? Get the ball down, play, and then you're going in and, you know, playing 4-4-2. And
So you went back to Blackburn.
yeah,
Built
Blackburn. To be fair, Blackburn was good. I was on the phone, Alan Coyle, and he said to us, like, he was like, oh, you're going to come in. It's only 40 minutes up the road from Manchester. I was saying, lovely, back down to my house, back down
Yeah.
to my mates. You know, I was at the being away for the year.
What age were you when you bought a gaff in Manchester?
What was he, 8 then?
That's mad, isn't it?
18, yeah, about 18.
It's late.
Yeah, it was good. So I was thinking lovely, like, you know what I mean? I was thinking I'm back down there now with my mates and um, not too far away from Blackburn. It's only 40 minutes, you know what I mean? He was saying to me, oh, look, Pep will be coming up watching the games on a Tuesday night and giving it the whole spiel. He'd worked with Daniel Sturridge and Jack Wilshere and all before, do you know what I mean? So I was thinking, he was like, I want you to be my next Jack Wilshere, like, you know, that kind of project. So I was thinking, this would be good, like.
Are you
know what I
on
mean?
loan here?
It was on loan,
Yeah.
yeah. So 2 years left on my deal then at City. So I was thinking, right, and I had a few clubs coming in, like, showing interest, like, you know what I mean? Like, I had my teams coming in, like, FC Metz, top division in France, Tel Aviv and Israel, like, these were all in Champions League and all at Tel
that
Aviv
stage,
at
yeah.
that stage, I think. So,
Why'd you choose Blackburn?
just because of what he was saying, and I thought if there was no point in me going somewhere and signing somewhere permanently, because I thought what I wanted to do was do another loan. I probably should have stayed in Holland. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew the league. I was doing
Yeah.
really well.
Style of
Good
play.
teams over there that wanted me, better teams than there was at before. Like, you know what I mean? But I wanted to try and prove to myself that I could play in Premier League, and like, if I done well in the Championship, then I played 40, 50 games for Blackburn in the Championship, and it was in Manchester, and, you know, maybe I'd done really well that year, and might have pushed me towards Man City's first team,
Yeah.
or else somebody in the Premier League or a lower team in the Premier League might have said, we will take him now because he's at the
Yeah.
proving what he could do in the Championship. So that was me thinking kind of behind going there. But then, as I said, he said, you're going to play in the 10, we're going to pass the ball, we're going to get it through the lines, want you to be me link. And then we lost the first 4 games of the season. Playing against Norwich, obviously, they were brilliant that time.
Yeah.
Bobby Grady, Naismith, Wezzo, you know what I mean? They were proper side. We got beat by them 4-1. And
That the year they went up.
that's the year they went.
Fairness,
had
they
over
go up
100
fucking every 2
Every
years,
year,
don't they?
yeah.
They had over 100 points or something one of the years.
So whatever year they were in the Championship, they went up, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they were just up and down. So
Yo club.
yeah, but so obviously went there and then just changed 4-4-2, and I was playing in the middle of the park, me and Darrell Lenihan, and it was like I had a centre half playing beside me in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
I'm 5'8" or something. Do you know what I mean? Playing the Championship, and he wants me to get up and down and
Yeah.
box to box and have to be the one to get on the ball then, because I'm technically, and it was like, that's not the way I play.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not that kind of player, and we are going long then, 2 strikers up front, and it was like get around the seconds, and it wasn't if you had told me that from the start, first of all, I would never have went there, but second of all, Man City would never have sent me there.
Yeah.
They would have said, no way you going there to play in a 4-4-2. You're going to Brentford in League One, who
Yeah.
play 4-3-3, and you're going to pop it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter where it was playing, League One, Championship, Holland. Once you're playing and you're playing in a way, a style of playing, that's where you're going to get the best of yourself, you know. But obviously that didn't go out the plan. But
So a lot of promises that just
yeah, but not.
But that's
yeah,
it's the pressure,
yeah,
isn't it?
but
Like,
not-
if
yeah,
he loses
I
them first few
understand that,
games,
you
he
know what
needs
I
to
mean?
get
Like,
points
if
on
he
the
was
board.
flying and we were winning games and we were playing and we could play,
Yeah.
like if we had the players maybe to play with a proper coach in there, we might have done better. But I understand where he's coming from as well. 'cause
how many
it's-
games did you end up playing for them then?
I only played about 12 games or something, 11 games or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? So, and then I was out of the team for ages, and I was like, it was a slog then. Do you know
What
what I
was
mean?
the
To get
championship games like?
tough.
Yeah,
They are tough,
I
like,
did,
you know.
'cause
That,
a lot of players say that championship could be played tougher than the Premier League.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Like,
Don't
there's
forget
probably
it,
less
innit?
football played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's games Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, like, and it is demanding. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's players in the championship earning $100,000 a week. Like, you know what I mean?
Is there?
It's there is. Yeah, like John Joe Shelby when he was at Newcastle on 100
Jay
grand.
Mitrovic,
Mitrovic is on
that.
Yeah.
is on that at Fulham, like, you know. So, like, they're now mugs. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's tough league, like, and but I don't really know what it was like, you know, playing it, because at the end of the day, I didn't play enough games to get
Yeah.
a rhythm going and to find my feet in it and say, because it was
Yeah.
only 19 at the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't as if I was a season pro and I was going in and knew what it was like. I needed to find out what it was like to then
And
find
is
my
that
feet.
why
and
you
play.
avoided Bolton in the first place then before you went to Campbell?
Yeah, well, they wouldn't have let me go there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they knew probably physically I wasn't ready to go into England. They
Mm.
said this is going to be perfect for you because they play and this is going to suit
Mm.
you the way they play, and there was a plan behind it. But the Blackburn one was kind of my own decision really because I was at that doing so well then in Holland. I was saying, right, well, I'm after doing that now, so let's try something else. I have no problem trying other things. Do you know what I mean? And trying to better myself really. But it just didn't work out. You know what I mean? It didn't work out, and then I was going back. I cancelled the loan in January because Wigan wanted to take me on a permanent. Warden Joyce was there. He knew me game. He knew me game really well, to be fair, because we used to play against his reserve teams. He was the United reserve team manager. So when he rang, I thought, this is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Get this deal done, like, you know what I mean? Because he's a manager who knows me and would know from playing against me how to get the best out of me. And he's very close with the head fella at Man City, Brian Marwood. So I went there, and then he got an eye infection. It was mad. I swear to God, he got an eye infection. He was going around with an eye patch on the training ground. He was like Captain Hook. He was going around the place. And he got sacked in March, the 1st of March or the 2nd of March. He got sacked.
And when did you go there? In January?
We went there in the last day of the window. It was the last signing done. It was like we were sorting.
Was that another loan or permanent?
No, that was permanent.
Permanent, yeah.
It was signing a 3.5-year deal.
Yeah.
Because obviously I had the house in Manchester. So it was like, right, 3.5-year deal, lovely. I'm around Manchester now for 3.5 years. At Wigan. They were around where Blackburn were on the table, and I was thinking, right, well, if they go down, I'm going to be playing top League One, trying to get promoted. You know what I mean? I was thinking, this is good. And he gets sacked then in March, so I'm only there 3.5 weeks or something, like, you know what I mean? 4 weeks, and he's gone. And I'm only getting up to speed then because I hadn't played before that, and I was back at City. And to be fair, for that month of January, I was training with the first time at City, so that was good. It was a good experience under Pep. But that was it then. He was gone. I had 3.5 years on my deal, just signed.
And you could easily be out of favour now.
And now manager comes in, and he says, right, he was the assistant manager before under the old manager. He comes in and says, right, I want to go back to the lads that were playing under the old manager. And I'm sitting on the bench again thinking, how do I get into this team?
The ups and downs of football.
So then I finally get into the team, play 2 games, season's over, get a new manager in the summer. He's gone. So a new manager comes in, fresh slate, and it's like, where he has his own ideas now, what way he wants to go. We've got 3 years left of my deal. And I'm thinking, like, what do we do? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to play. Like, he's trying to get me go down to London on loan to a few clubs down there, Charlton or something we're in. I didn't want to do that because I was living in Manchester, I had my house there. I was going to be on the same money. It wasn't going to be more money. And you're going down to London, which is like, you need double the money that you're on down in Manchester because it's a, you know how expensive it is to live there. So I went to Oldham then on loan, and then obviously in January I ended up signing for Oldham. There's a couple done really well that year. A couple of clubs wanted me. Peterborough, Hearts, like good clubs, you know what I mean? But I was in Manchester, I was happy. I was at Oldham. They were at getting taken over at the stage, so they could afford me wages. So I went there and they got relegated, obviously. So I was in League
Andy
2.
won as well.
I was in League 2 on the same money I was on the Championship.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? People say, oh, you're a bad egg. You got kicked out of this club. You got kicked out of that club, and that club didn't want you. Well, when you're the highest earner at the club,
You need to count the losses.
you know what I mean?
Get rid of them.
And then the owner calls you in and says, want you to take a cut. And you're saying, well, hang on a minute. I'm only had to sign a 2.5-year deal in January when you signed me from Wigan. Why would I take a cut when I'm after coming to you? And I don't have a clause in my contract to take a cut if we get relegated.
Yeah.
And you never asked me to do that. If you had asked me to do that at the time, then it's a different conversation.
Talk about
Do you know what I mean? You
yeah.
can say, all right, well, he wants me to take a cut, we can understand that. Then you have a decision to make, and you might say, well, they are around near enough the bottom. I'll just go to Peterborough. That's a safer bet. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you finish at 35 or so. You need to look at yourself financially. Do you know what I mean?
Job at the end of the
Yeah,
day. People
so
forget that.
there's no way I was going to go to there's no way I was going to sign for Oldham when they were around the bottom and think, if we get relegated, I'm
Take
getting
the pay cut.
slash half my wages when I was on the same money at Wigan and I still had 2 years left, and I could have just sat there and gone on loan again somewhere else, or signed permanently for Peterborough, who are at the top pushing to go up. Do you know what I mean? So that's the side people don't see, and they think, oh, five clubs in 3 years, and how did that happen? And they see like Applewell, Cyprus, why they leave there? Same thing. If I had a clause in my contract saying if they didn't get in Europe and they had financial issues, would I take a cut? Yeah, all right, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
But I didn't go over there with that in my contract, so why would I take a cut?
Exactly, yeah.
you're not going to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Your contract's your strength at the end of the day. So it is what it is. It's a job. It's your job. Do you know what I mean?
You went from Oldham then to Scotland, didn't you?
Went from Oldham to Kilmarnock, yeah.
So how'd that conversation come about? Was this because of the wage thing?
Yeah, so then basically Oldham tried to sack me because I wasn't leaving. So I met him so he was messing about then with the wages. So you get paid by the month over there, and he was leaving it like two weeks late, and then paying us, and then 2 weeks late, and then paying us. Do you know what I mean? So I was thinking, what's going on here? Like this doesn't sound great. So I met him in Dubai. The last day of the season, he called me and he said, Jack, I'm gonna pay the lads, but I can't pay you. So I says, all right. I said, no problem. He said, look, if you win tomorrow, I'll pay for your, because I was going to Dubai then, like a couple of days later, and he's based in Dubai, the owner of Oldham. He said, look, if you win, I'll pay for your holiday.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, so keep us up. Next year, we'll have a good go. I'm going to throw loads of money at getting new players in. I said, all right, so no problem. Like, lost. Lost. Relegated.
There's that
Sitting
love
there
story
thinking,
coming in.
no, do you know what I mean? But in a way, I was kind of thinking, like, what way is that club going? It's probably going to have to leave anyway because he was messing. Do you know what I mean? He was proper messing. The way the club's gone now, protests and all, like, you know what I mean? It soon comes around, you know what I mean? Like, people will see the picture at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to go out there shouting and screaming what happened because 2-3 years down the line, like, they're second bottom in League 2 now, not paying their players and can't pay their staff. Like, I don't
it was
need
your
to explain
fault.
that, but
People think it's your
But then
fault,
a couple of years ago, people say he got thrown out of there. So, anyways, he got back from Dubai. He met me over there. So he gives us a few bob and all. Like, when I was over there, I was listen, just pay me wages. You know what I mean? And then he's ringing like Peterborough. He's on the phone to me saying, "I want 450,000." And then he's putting him on mute and saying to me, "I'll if you go to Peterborough, I will give you some of the money." So I'm like, what's going on here? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so anyways, get back from Dubai, what training, and he says to me, "You gonna go?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going." I says, "I don't want to go down there." Do you know what I mean? I don't want to live down there. And he was like, "Okay." So he had a French lad in there. French lad got injured. He started saying that he did a bad tackle on him and broke his leg, which was no. And then obviously went through the court case with the PFA and all that. Got a 2-week suspension. After the 2 weeks, couldn't do anything, so I was back in. But he said, "No, you're training with the kids now." But it was all because it was the highest earner at the club and he wanted me out, which I knew. And then after that, said something about emoji I put on Twitter was like directed at him, calling him a clown or something, which was mental. So he tried to suspend me again. I was actually at a circus with my sister and our daughter. They were over for the weekend. Like, put something on Twitter like with the circuses and like stuff. And he said that was directed at me. We're gonna sack you from this. So he was like, what's going on? So another 2-week suspension. So it was like, same thing again, PFA, court case, everyone sitting around the table and that. No, can't do anything, you're back in. So I'm like, so then he comes to me and says, "Give you payout." I was like, "All right, sound, no problem. Pay us up." And he said, "Yeah, I will." But, you know, he paid us up after 6 o'clock. After 6 o'clock on the last day, I couldn't sign for anyone in England. I had to go to Scotland. Like.
Yeah.
So even if I wanted to go anywhere in England, I couldn't. I could only go to Scotland. So obviously had Hearts the season before, Kilmarnock. I only wanted to sign a 1-year deal. Steve Clark was up there, so went up there.
Steve Clark's a good manager.
Steve Clark was brilliant manager. He was a gent. He was brilliant with me. Like, you know, he was unbelievable with me up there.
Some big clubs as well.
Yeah. Top coach. Brilliant coach. Class.
You under Mourinho?
Yeah, sessions are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Kenny Dalglish as well. He was under Liverpool.
Yeah.
So went up there and enjoyed the training and all. Just didn't enjoy the place. Do you know what I mean? Couldn't get the grips with the place, and there was international breaks all the time. Do you know what I mean? So I was going up there after not having a great pre-season. So I was trying to get myself going. I was getting in for 15 minutes, and then they were top of the league. Like, they were ahead of Celtic and Rangers that season up until Christmas.
Yeah.
Up until like January, the middle of January, they were.
That'd have been big for them.
Yeah, they were flying, which obviously I didn't expect. I thought they would have been like mid-table and was going to get a few games. Like, but you can't change a winning team. Team just kept winning.
Yeah.
Just motoring on, and he was obviously linked with the Celtic job and all that at that stage. So he was obviously flying. So we just made a decision. We said, like, I'm gonna have to do something here. Like, it was low at that stage, you know what I mean? It was on the floor because I was thinking, was at the doing well the season before. I had a load of options. Then, obviously, the messing around, getting out of all of them, and you obviously have to look after yourself financially. You're not just gonna rip your contract up and walk away just so you can get another club. Do you know what I mean? You have to look after yourself. So, when that was all sorted, then I only had the option to go up to Kilmarnock really for a 1 year deal. And you know, it's hard to, when you're doing everything in your power to get into a team, and you know you're working hard, you're staying up there, you're away from Manchester, you're away from, you know, all your mates back down in Manchester, whatever, and you're up there and it's completely different. You're doing everything, you're staying in a hotel, you haven't got a house yet sorted up there, and you're doing everything to get into the team, but the team just keep winning.
Yeah.
And you can't get into the team, and you're playing 15 minutes, then you know the team you might come on, the team might be winning, you might play 15 minutes. The next week, same team, they lose. He's not really going to change it. You'd have to lose 2 on the bounce, or you know, a loss and a draw, or something like that, and then he'd say, right, give you a go now. But it never happened because we won another, maybe drew, then won again.
Yeah.
Then you 2 weeks off international break. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, then you're doing, it's 5 weeks before you play the game.
Yeah.
So you're so far behind the other lads in terms of fitness and all that.
Sharpness.
Yeah, match sharpness, that you end up playing resi games, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That was,
It's not what you signed up for.
it's not what I wanted to do. I
Where
didn't
did
want to.
Kilmarnock end up finishing then?
They finished third that year. They got
Did
Europe
they?
and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mad.
I think they finished third. Yeah, that was an amazing season for them. Like, you know what I mean. But we went into them and I just said to him one of the days, I said, look, I said, Gaffer, I said, I respect you. I said a lot. I said you're a top coach. I said, I'm not gonna come in here moaning, saying, why aren't you playing me? Why aren't you playing me? What do I need to do to get in the team? I said, I know what I need to do to get into the team. I said, but you need to lose a few games for me to get into the team. I said, and I don't want to be sitting around here wishing that you was,
Hoping for a loss.
wishing that you was lost. I said, because the lads are all sound. Do you know what I mean? The boys were all legends. Like,
Yeah.
got on well with them. Scottish would be like Irish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There was a lot
very
of
similar.
Scottish and Jordan Jones and Dom Thomas and Gary Dicker, all these boys are all sound, like, you know what I mean? So I didn't want them to lose.
Yeah.
I wanted them to win, but I wanted to play. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I said to him, like, after one of the games, was in the showers, and we had that winning. I think we had that beating someone in the last minute. I think it might have been Celtic. We scored a header in the last minute and we beat them. And I was in the showers and I was thinking, like, I should be buzzing here, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm half raging, thinking like, oh, here we go again. Another 3 weeks before I get on the pitch. So I just went into him then a couple of days after. I said, look, I said, Gabber, I said, I don't want to be around the lads, and you know, when they're buzzing and they have a good thing going here, and the boys like me, do you know what I mean? Like, we were all like good mates, and I didn't want to be that kind
Dampener,
of
like,
dampener on it, and that kind of like a bad kind of vibe around the place. So because I was giving it everything and I just wasn't getting that little bit of luck that you kind of needed. And I said, look, I just went into him. I said, I'm gonna go, like, you know. And he said, look, can you stay just until January? He said, because obviously I can't get anyone else in, and you know, obviously think you're a good top player. Like, he said, we'll ring clubs in England and I'll get you a club there in January if you want. He said, just stick around and obviously just, you know, until January do your thing. And I said, I went back into him then. I think it was, I said, all right, I will. And then when I went home, sitting in the gaff, and I was like, I can't. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, I can't do it. I was like, this was like November, middle of November. I was like, can't stick 6 weeks. I can't do it. Like, you know, I was on the floor. I was just mentally just gone, shot,
Finished, yeah.
just drained. Like, and I just went into him 2 or 3 days later. Johnny came over to me. Went out with Johnny Monday nights. After, I just said, I'm going back to Manchester tomorrow. I said, I'm going back to my gaff. I said, that's me done. I said, I'm finished. I said, I'll decide what I want to do after. And I just went in. I just went into him. I said, look, I'm going. I said, pack the bag. I said, I didn't pack the bag, you know what I mean? And he said, look, go home for a week, think about it, and bring me in a week and let me know what you want to do. He said, there's always a spot here if you want to come back. Went home, and a couple of days later, I called him. I said, look, that's me finished. He said, listen, I'm going to pay you until January. I'm going to get the club to pay you until January because you've been very good with us. so we want to look after you or make sure they
Quality
look
that.
after.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do
No,
that.
and it's
You know
nice
what
to
I mean?
finish
It
on
was
that,
nice,
isn't it?
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Especially you have to come from Oldham, where it was
yeah,
total
all
opposite.
that stuff, and that's why I didn't want to be like that with him, because he was sound with me and he was a good bloke with me, and he obviously his stature in the game was obviously so
Where's
high.
he
You
at
know,
now?
Scotland manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
So like I didn't want to end on bad terms or anything like that. I just wanted it to be this is my decision. Like you know. Then I just rang my agent and said, like, you know, that's what I want to come home. Like, and I need to come home. Do you know what I mean? I need to just reset, because from the years before that, like, I think everything that I had put into it, and I just kind of needed a little mental reset where it was like, right, just come back, get back to normal, and just go again and just figure it out again. Do you know what I mean? Because up until that, it was just so up and down, roller coaster. Them 4 or 5 years, as much as they were brilliant, they were mad. Do you know what I mean? And,
so much happening. Yeah,
and it was mad in my life from the time I was 14, going away. Do you know what I mean? I never really had a break. I never really had a right. Just take a step back out of it. I was never injured. Like always played. Never missed a game. Even never missed a training session. So it was every day, bang, 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 since I was 14. So maybe I did just need that little step back, have a look in, and say, right, what do I want? What do I really want? And it was the best thing I could have ever done, you know.
yeah, and no problem getting a club over there, I'd imagine.
Do you know what? It wasn't even like that. It was just like Brad's house was unbelievable to me. Even like when I was playing for Ireland under 21s and that, when I got called up training with the first day and went back down when I was in Holland, he would go to the games, like watch the games, talk to him after, say what I could do, what he thinks I could do better. And like I always had a relationship with him. Do you know what I mean? Like even playing five-a-sides when I was at City, we used to come home and play against my agent and Brad's and like a few of the Rovers lads. We play against them, like, and so we always had a relationship with him. So, but it wasn't even a conversation as if to be like, "Do you want to come in?" It was like, it was just a decision I had to make. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I knew that option was going to be there, but I wouldn't have took me. Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have taken me in the position I was in. So for him to take me, show that faith in me, is the best thing anyone has ever done for me, really. You know what I mean? Because I was on the floor, like I was overweight, and me being overweight is like, I'm like, there's nothing on me. You know what I mean? But I was just out of shape. I wasn't a footballer, like, you know what I mean? I was just in a completely different mindset to what I had been in the 2, 3, 4 years previous to that. For them, 3, 4 months then, from like say October to January, I was like a completely different person. And it was unrecognizable, you know what I mean? So, and that's mentally and physically, you know what I mean? When you're mentally gone, you're mentally shot, you don't care physically what you're doing.
Yourself
what
go,
you look like. You're always looking for an excuse to blame somebody else, or, do you know what I mean? So I knew I needed to just strip it back, do you know what I mean? Just strip it all back and say, right, what am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to become? And once I made that decision, then it was like, I have to go with this. And then when I went in for the first couple of weeks, I was half embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? I was half embarrassed to be back in the league. It's not like that this time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This time is completely different. I'm a man now. Do you know what I mean? But when you're young and you're a kid, you're 20, 21, you're thinking, I'm a failure. Do you know what I mean? I'm at coming home. I'm at failing everyone. What's everyone gonna be thinking? You're going out playing for Rovers. You're thinking, I need to be like Messi.
Yeah.
When you don't, you just need to be Jack Byrne. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're not scoring a hat-trick every game, you're saying, how am I not scoring a hat-trick every game against, you know, these players when I think I should be playing in the Premier League? I think I might have the talent to play in the Premier League. I should be absolutely ripping it up every game. But then you realise that the standard of some of the boys here is as good as the teams is playing for Kilmarnock, if not better. Oldham, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're talking about, like, do I think I could play for like Hearts or Kilmarnock? Now, of course I could. Do you know what I mean? Could I play for Oldham? My eyes closed. 100%. Do you know what I mean? But could I play for Rovers with my slippers on, my eyes closed? No. Do you know what I mean? I need to be the best player that we can be to do that. So the level that I came back to was a better level than probably what I was at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, hang on a minute. Like, why do I feel a little bit embarrassed? And you have players like Joey O'Brien and, you know what I mean, all around you, Alan Manis, all these players, top players, like.
Yeah.
So once you get that out of your head where you're like, I haven't let anyone down, you know, I'm not, I shouldn't be embarrassed to be playing here, you know what I mean? This is me. I need to make the best of this. That's when you just knuckle down and you just take it. And
If Ant, you had a
everything
point to
comes
prove, didn't you, really?
I did, but to myself,
Yeah,
do you know
that's what I mean.
I don't care about people on keyboards and texting me and Dundalk fans. And,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like all these, and I don't care about them. Do you know what I mean? I like the stick. I do. I like it. You know what I mean? When they're giving you that bit of banter,
Yeah.
you just look at it. I'd be looking on Twitter, like when I'm at that sign for Rovers, I put up sign for the biggest club in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, you must have signed for
More
Dundalk, did you?
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
seen
Like
all
all
that,
this.
did
Did you
you?
sign for Bowles? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Question mark. Like I'm looking at it laughing. Like, you know what I mean? 'Cause it's a bit of crack. Like it is what it is. Like I'm at the game last night between Bowles and Pats.
Yeah.
A few of my mates are playing for them. You know what I mean? Like you want to see them do well. There's nothing more I want than for Pats to play in the Champions League or the Europa League or Dundalk or Bowles. Like, of course I want to see Dawson Devoy, Ross Tierney, all these players doing well, because what's that going to do? It's going to be better for Ireland.
Yeah.
It's going to be better for Irish football. I don't want it just to be the Jack Byrne show.
Yeah.
Only I do well and no one else do well. I want Borky to get a cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want Dan Mandrew to get a cap. I want me mates to get a cap. Aaron McAneff 100% deserved the cap when he was playing for Rovers. He was unbelievable. I want them to get a cap. I don't want it to be all about me. I want the league to do as well as it should, as it can do, like the Scandinavian leagues who are similar size to us, Cyprus. Do you know what I mean? Like them teams playing Champions League quarterfinals. I want that here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want the players to do well, because what's going to do? It's going to boost our national team.
Yeah.
And you're a fan before you're a player. Do you know what I mean? If you're not a player, you're going to the games, watching the games anyways.
How far do you think this league is away from getting into Europe? Like
Just
consistently?
investment. Just investment.
Yeah.
100% just investment. If, like I'm in Cyprus there, for instance, and Ammonia, Apoel Nicosia, Limassol will fight AEL, will fight it out in Europe. One of them or two of them will be in Europe every single year.
Yeah.
If they're not in Europe, it's an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, players get paid 2 months late, 3 months late, don't get bonuses. Do you know what I mean? Like
Deliberately,
they make you know.
Yeah.
Listen, you get in Europe, everything is fine. If you're not in Europe, you'll know you're not in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So it's investment. They will invest in the team to do that, to get them into Europe. And you'll have players coming from different parts of the world to play for these teams. And in Ireland, they can't do that. Do you know what I mean? You only need one or two really good teams to push that. It's not as if every country has 7 unbelievable teams and they're all competing, but they'll have 1 or 2 teams. Whereas if you're drawing against them in Europe, you're thinking, that's a tough draw. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're getting one of the teams from Estonia where you think fancy yourselves against any of them. Like if you get drawn against Ammonia from Cyprus, like you may as well be playing Brentford in the Premier League. Like, you know what I mean? They are similar kind of levels. Like, you know what I mean? They are good teams. So it's investment. It's not even the stadiums and all that. Like, you know what I mean? I think if the teams invest in their squads and they get that where the players don't want to leave, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you still had Liam Scales here, like, of course he's gonna go to Celtic. Of course he is. Do you know what I mean? Anyone is. But if you had an option for him to stay here for a couple of grand a week more than he was on, do you know what I mean? And say, right, we'll keep you for another year. You're on a contract for another year. We're gonna get, Jack back, Borky in the team. You got Dan Mandrew. You might go and sign 1 or 2 more. Like, if you have that option for the players, they might think twice about going to a Shrewsbury or a St. Mirren, or do you know what I mean? They might think twice about doing it. And if you have that European kind of thing where you can strive towards that, then would you want to leave Rovers if you knew that they're probably going to be in Europe, probably going to win a league, or they'll go to Peterborough?
Yeah.
What would you probably do? Like, you'd probably say, do you know what, I'm going to think about that. It's a bit of a tougher decision.
Yeah.
But when it's a 70% chance that they won't and a 30% chance that they might, and the money's probably a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? You're probably thinking, right, well, if I go to Peterborough and I do all right for a year or two, I can go to somewhere else. Whereas if you do well for Rovers in Europe or Dundalk in Europe and you rip it up and you're in Europe on a regular basis, then you're not worried about that extra grand a week, 2 grand a week. You're talking about 10 grand a week then. If someone wants to sign you, they're going to say, he's been playing the Europa League 2 years in a row and he's been the best player in the group stages. I'm going to give him 10 grand a week because I know he can play. It's not like I'll give him 4 grand a week and see what he's like because he's only playing in Ireland. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the investment. And if your players are getting paid a proper contract, if Rovers are paying somebody or Dundalk a good contract, I'm not talking grand a week. Do you know what I mean? Which is still all right. Like, it's good money. You know what I mean? But if someone wants to take it in England, what do they offer you? 3 grand a week. 2 grand a week.
It's easy.
If you're getting paid 3-4 grand a week here and they have the investment and they're striving for that, but someone has to come in and offer you a lot more than that to tempt you away. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
100%. So that's all it comes down to is investment. And the younger players now with Brexit, they can't really go away. They can't
bounce over
they can't bounce over early. So if they stay and if you can breed them into your first team, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's night and day fee-wise that the clubs will have to pay. Do you know what I mean? When we went to St. Kevin's, I don't even know what, or when we went to Man City from St. Kevin's, I don't even know what St. Kevin's got for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't 400 grand, 500 grand that Man City had to pay Shamrock Rovers for Gavin Bazunu when he played in their first team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you get a 16-year-old and he's playing your first team, there's 100% you're going to get a fee. And if not, he's definitely going to be better for it playing 16, 17, 18. By the time he comes to 18, if he's ready to play in your first team and he does well, if the team's in and around the European places, playing Europa League qualifiers, might qualify 1 year. If you have an 18-year-old playing in Europe and he's doing well, you're talking someone's going to sign him for the proper fee and give him a proper contract on the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where the changes then the ball game. Do you know what I mean? Because kids might turn around and say, when they're 16, I'm not going to go away for 800 quid a 2-year YTS and 800 quid a week pro contract or something. They'll say, do you know what? I'll wait here and I'll play. And if they sign me, then I'm going away on a proper contract. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it will. That's where it has to change, like you know. But it's all just comes down to investment. Like Rovers, and the teams here, they can't pay through the roof for the players because how can you when you only get
Can't afford it.
2,000-3,000 into the stadium, or do you know what I mean? And there's no TV money and all that. Do you know what I mean? How can you go out there unless you're a multi-billionaire and you just want to burn a hole in your pocket? You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a bit of a brain and do it a certain way, like, you know what I mean? So there needs to be a demand as well from the public to want to watch the games, and you know, I think that is coming into us. Like, there's 40,000 at that cup final yesterday. People are mad for live football now at the moment, so I think it will slowly start changing, like, you know, and I think there's better people in better positions in the FAI, especially now. You know, I see the likes of Stephen who managed in the league, and you know, we obviously know the league's very important because half of the Ireland forwards team played in the league. Do you know what I mean?
It's great to see.
Stage. So it's a big pathway to play international football, the league. Like,
we have that Europa Conference League as well, where I think probably in the next year or two there'll be Gardenhead and Irish team, and Bowes gave it a good bash this year.
Like, you know what I mean? And like, Bowes weren't playing now mugs and Pauk, you know what I mean?
No,
They're serious.
very
side,
well,
like,
yeah.
you know?
Good side,
So we play Paddington Wycott up well pre-season. They were brilliant as well. Like, and obviously Pauk, and I think in the same league as them in Greece.
Yeah.
So look, I've seen the levels. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been there. I've watched loads of games because it's 25 degrees in the night time. You're going out shorts and a t-shirt. You're watching the games. Ammonia played in our stadium, and obviously we played in our stadium. So if we weren't playing one night, there was another game on. Just go and watch the games. Like, you know what I mean? So I've seen the levels of the teams, and we're not that far off. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
It's just certain things that need to be tweaked that would help massively.
Yeah.
But until you tweak it and until you have people that want to tweak it and want it to all go in that direction, then nothing's going to change.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
We have a couple of short of time. We're going to have to wrap this up, so we go quick for a few questions for him before we wrap this up.
Right. Who was the best player you ever played with?
Talk the words out of my mouth.
That's a tough one, you know. In training games.
Training and games. Give us one of each.
Do you know what? Wales was a joke.
Yeah.
Wes Houlihan.
Really?
Ah, man.
You're gonna say what so?
Why not? Like, you know what I mean? He's
No,
from
I
the
know what
area
you're
and
saying,
all,
but
you know? But if you're talking about actual players, I'd say...
actual players.
As Wes was not a player,
no,
yeah.
but like,
Disrespect to
no,
Wes.
obviously Wes played.
And where did you play with him in Ireland?
For the
Ireland,
Ireland,
yeah.
I'll try him a couple of times, like, but like a joke.
Very similar players.
Unbelievable.
Kind of style, no?
Not that good. I only use my left foot for putting out smokes. Obviously, Nazi, Tevez was probably Tevez. Yeah.
Tevez as well.
Yeah.
What was Pep like in training?
Class, demanding, like, just different ideas and different kind of, like, even warm-ups and all that, circuits and ball orientated and just different ideas, different way of looking at things and just class.
Who's the best defender you ever seen? Played with in training or in a real game?
Do you know what?
Be surprised if you don't say a certain player, but go on.
Who Company?
Yeah.
Yeah, Company was a joke. You see, Company's work rate, him and Lampard, man, they used to every single day after training.
Oh,
like,
were you
even-
the Lampard?
Yeah, Lamps.
Fuck off, yeah.
Class.
How good is he?
He was unbelievable. He was shouting, man. Honestly, he would never miss the target, never miss the top corner. Like, just
His goals,
everything.
that's big for
But he was
themselves.
brilliant with us, like, because after training and all, like, he'd call us
Come in,
off.
yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He'd call us off and say, boys, want to do a bit of shooting, like.
I
You know
like
what I
him,
mean?
like.
But he had, like, all the lads and all would lie down after training or whatever. Just say you go up, you train with the first team. Like, Lampard and Company would be box to boxes, like, doing little drills and shooting drills, whatever, their own kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, just that drive he had in him, just as a player,
Yeah.
got him that high, like.
Best player in the League of Ireland right now.
Oh, that's tough.
Georgie Kelly.
You know what? You'd have to give it to
He's up
Georgie,
there.
wouldn't you? But talent-wise, Patrick McElhenney.
Yeah.
Ah, boys, you should see this fella play football. Unbelievable. Some of the stuff. He was injured when he was at Oldham. He signed for Oldham with us. And he was injured for the whole time. And I'm not joking. He had a quad strain. And the gaffer told him just to use his left foot. And he was the
he
best
did.
player in training. And he couldn't use his right foot.
Unbelievable. Mad
It was
yeah,
a
shit like that. innit?
joke, honestly.
Come here, do you ever get
joke.
starstruck when you meet a player? Or do you just be like focused, fuck it, I'm here to do a job?
Playing, like...
Yeah.
No, never really, no.
No, you never
No.
fucking hell, I'm training with this going on. I'm playing against this fella now.
No, not really, no. The only one really that put the shits up you, and he was a muppet, was Craig Bellamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
And obviously
Oh,
all
yeah.
the stuff's that they're coming out about him and all what
Yeah.
he's like, but he, like, you go up training with him, he ping the ball at you, take a touch, he turn around to Mark Hughes and say, like, we were only 15, 16 at this stage, and he turn around to Mark Hughes and say, what's this cabbage down training with us?
Yeah.
The first thing he'd do, like, you know what I mean? So we built a ball, you take a touch, ball go up in the air. What's this cabbage down up training with us?
Yeah.
You're like, come on, man.
All right,
Come
mate,
on,
have a day
like,
off there,
have
yeah.
a day off.
Yeah, that's a bit stupid. I've seen people saying he's actually a gentleman and he's supposed to have this aura of a madman. He's actually a gent.
Can I see all the stuff
Shay
that's
Gibbons
coming out about him?
podcast and all.
Yeah.
No, I've seen all this, but
Yeah.
Shay Gibbons mentions him and that.
Shay
and all
sound.
Yeah.
and a
Shay
few other
sound.
things, but yeah, fuck Craig Bellamy anyways.
Yeah.
Muppet.
And come here, what was it like getting your first Ireland senior call up?
Yeah, do you know what? That was
Was that the highlight of your career?
yeah,
was that against, Jack?
100%. Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So, first start obviously was against New Zealand and came on against Bulgaria for my debut. That was quality, like, because the night before and that Mick had said to me, he was like, "You're gonna play, like, you know what I mean?"
Mm.
He said, "You're gonna come on." He said, "You're not just gonna play 10 minutes, like,
Could
you're gonna
sleep
come
at
on,
night
so
while you're buzzing.
just get ready." So we was like, "Fucking hell," you know what I mean? Go back to that gaff. I go back to that hotel, you're lying in bed, and everything just going through your head.
Yeah.
You're thinking, like, just hoping I don't wake up sick in the morning or
Yeah,
something, you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Just praying. You don't want to sleep, but then you want to sleep.
What's it like getting the phone call for the call up though? Like, how did you find out you were in the Ireland squad?
Stop. So I was out Paddy's Day. We were
Wouldn't be
after
like
playing- yeah.
You love a little
Right.
party. you know.
We're after being out, me and Aaron McAneff, we were after being out, we were after playing Sligo, and it was Paddy's weekend, so we went out the night before, the Saturday night, we were in Crystal, and I had like 9 missed calls off the gaffer, and 3 missed calls off my agent, and we were after waking up, it was like 1 o'clock in the day, so we were there, I was like, oh no, what am I after
something.
doing?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, did we do something last night, Mike? I was like, and he's like, nah, I don't think so. I said, I'll just get in the shower. I said, I'll ring them back after so I get fresh head. And I was meant to go down and meet me man all in the pub for Paddy's Day. Because obviously Paddy's Day,
Yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
go out and have a drink, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So me and Mike were getting ready. And I rang him and he goes, oh, look, just to let you know, you know, Mick was obviously on to me, and he wants you to go and meet up with the squad tonight. So I was like, what? No way, you serious? But then obviously the demons going through your head. I shouldn't have went out last night.
Yeah.
But just went in then and done really well. Like, you know what I mean? He liked me. He liked the kind of person I was, and obviously the Apple Health stuff and all comes off the back of it. But
Yeah.
you know, obviously it didn't last too long.
No. But yeah, and that was it then.
That was it. Like,
Quick one as well. I don't think we asked. Did we ask? The best player you ever played against?
do you know what? When Charlie Musunda, a young kid, he was at Chelsea, Belgium. He's the best player I ever played against, boy a mile.
Where is he now?
He done his knee, and he's had to been out for the last 3 years. He went on loan to Celtic, Real Betis, played by Chelsea's first time a good few times, 5 or 6 times. But he was a joke. Honestly, the best young player I've ever seen in my life.
Mad.
He was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Right.
Right.
That's episode 51 wrapped up.
I've 2 more things to say.
Go.
Do you piss in the shower?
No, we don't.
What do you mean?
Lawyer.
Oh, you're from
Yeah, I'll tell you,
Ballybock.
he's a
I'll tell you a
waffler.
good one, right? Actually, I'm pissing in the shower. So when we were that old, and we have a lad called Anthony Gerrard, right? Gas, well, Stephen Gerrard's cousin.
Yeah.
Gas. But any new player we had, he used to turn the showers on, like, you know what I mean? And when they get in, he'd steam the whole place up so you couldn't see it. And he'd be talking to them like that, but he'd be pissing on their foot as he's
No
talking.
way.
And he'd do it to
Dirty
all the new
bastards.
players. Like, oh yeah, so where are you from? What you doing? What you doing with yourself? And he'd be pissing all over them.
Fuck's sake. Golden shower, what? And then the last thing I want to mention is we're having a hoolie on Sunday in 22s.
Jeez, we nearly forgot that. didn't
The
we?
big one, we're having a 1-year celebration. So come on
Now,
now.
it's not a live show. It's just a celebration.
It's a hoolie.
Run amok, cause slaughter,
Yeah.
take the gaff, get nicked. Good story for
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we're in 22s on Sunday, so drop down, say hello, and that's
The
it.
tickets are on the Instagram. They're on my Instagram, and we'll be sharing it as the days come on. So you can go on and get your ticket. Only 15 quid. Don't be a milger.
Yeah.
Boom. Episode 51 wrapped up.
Right, Jack, nice one for coming in.
Nice
We
one,
appreciate
bro.
it.
Sound,
Thank
boy.
Right,
you.
Nice
Johnny,
one.
take us out.
Boom.
Subscribe to this podcast for free on the Go Loud app.
What you waiting for? Put your back in it. Just a little more. Throw your weight in it now. Tell your body you're dead. Walk it hard and long. When you finish that,
Dehep na ka.
go down, go down, go down. Come up, come up, come up, come up. Go down, go down, go down, go down.